Once again, welcome to the Gregorio's Trattoria pregame show here on Big Train TV. Tyler, Gallo, and Ben Bobeck here with you tonight as the Big Train gets set to take on the Alexandria Aces for a twi-night doubleheader, is I believe what they call it. And first start tonight, of course, the start of the first game will be Luke Baker against Trenner O'Donnell. Take a look at the starting pitchup matchup there. And Ben, first let's take a look at what happened in last night's game. What did you see in last night's game?
Yeah, a little struggle for the Big Train to get into an offensive rhythm. Second straight game, they've scored under 8 runs. They'll be looking to change that tonight and have plenty of opportunity to do so. 16 total innings as of now. We'll see if any extras are needed. But, like I said, plenty of baseball to be played this evening.
Absolutely. And, of course, Jack Cohn left in surprisingly for a second inning last night after blowing the save earlier in that game in the 7th inning. So, surprised to see that there. But tonight, the starting pitcher is Luke Baker. And, we've seen some pretty good outings from him this year. He's the long lefty, and he's the guy that's been pretty much I guess, not the ace, but the linchpin in this staff so far.
Yeah, a couple really good starts for Luke Baker. One, a little bit better than the last. 5 innings for him his last time starting. 8 innings total. He's been pretty good and looking to bring that lockdown command back to the rubber tonight.
Right, and he's opposed by the Ball State student-athlete Trenner O'Donnell. O'Donnell was pitched 3 scoreless innings in his only start of the year, so it'll be a good match for that tonight. So take a look at the
dominating physical presence.
Yeah, very much. He's 6'8", I believe he is, correct. I mean, both of these guys are tall, so
it's going to be really interesting launch angles for both lineups to deal with.
Absolutely. So I'm going to have to go with my hitter to watch tonight. We'll take a look at that, and I'm going to go with Riley Johnson. He's going to be slotted instantly into the top of the order and looking for some instant offense in the 1 hole tonight, leadoff spot. And he's a guy that hasn't played much yet, but will get his chance to here as he leads off. Yeah,
flashed the mitt out in the outfield last night as a defensive substitution. We'll see what he can do leading off the batting order today. For me, I'm going to go with another slight newcomer, Danny Nerai, the catcher out of Notre Dame. Had a really big game in his first start last night, 2 for 2 in his first 2 at-bats with a single and a solo shot. We'll see what he can do sliding a little bit up towards the middle of the batting order.
Yeah, ball tipped off the top of the wall and went over for a home run, but that's how they don't ask how, they ask how many for that one. The Big Train will look to take 2 from the Aces and take 2 from their deck of cards tonight as they take them on, the team that beat them, looking for some revenge. We'll see you here for first pitch coming right up on Big Train TV.
This season starting on June 9th.
And a beautiful afternoon for baseball here at Shirley Povich Field. Game 1 of this doubleheader between the Alexandria Aces and the Bethesda Big Train here on Big Train TV. Ben Bobeck and Tyler Gallo as we welcome you inside Povich Field here at Cabin John Regional Park. And stepping in to the plate is Josh Hall to face Luke Baker out of Jacksonville University, who's set to fire us for our first pitch of this one at 4:01. Plenty of baseball to come throughout this evening. And Tyler, happy to be here with you to bring it all.
Absolutely. And as of right now, we have a standoff, on the field as they head back in the dugout.
Bunt back to Baker, bobbled, able to fire over in time. Hall retired on a good save defensively from Luke Baker to get 1 out on 2 pitches.
Didn't get rattled by that bobble and just went in there and threw him out. Very nice fielding play there from Baker to bend but not break in that situation.
87 degrees, cloudy with rain expected as we go into this evening. For now, it stays pretty dry here at Povich Field. As stepping in is Anthony Migliaccio, rising freshman at Vanderbilt University when the 2021-2022 academic year kicks off this fall. For now, he steps into the right-handed batter's box and fouls the first one back into the screen against Luke Baker, who now sets, fires, and delivers on the outside to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
You certainly got to hope the skies stay calm tonight. Rain is in the forecast. We don't know how many games we'll get to you tonight, but hopefully both of them.
Swing and a miss there from Migliaccio. The right fielder tonight wearing 21 in gray for Alexandria this evening. Here's the 1-2, high and outside for a ball.
Yeah, as of right now, only rain slated in the forecast for 6 and 7 p.m., so that could work out to the advantage of this team. They may push it back a little bit and for that second game.
And a swing and a miss on a good breaking ball on the outside edge. And Migliaccio goes down swinging for the second out of this inning.
And like I said in the pregame show, Luke Baker has been absolutely the linchpin of this starting staff. There's no defined ace. There's no guy that's going to be the guy that goes out there and gives you 7 shut piece every 7 days or every 5 days. But Luke Baker has been the guy that they've returned to for a good start. You know, we've seen some good starts from Noah Carbajal. We've seen some from other guys, but Baker's the guy that I'm really appreciative of this season.
Baker finds the zone there to start off Garrett Farquhar, the second baseman for Alexandria. Coming into today, Migliaccio in his 2 games with Alexandria, a .444 hitter with just 1 strikeout. And he goes down swinging against Baker as this one is sent way high down the right side and well out of play. No play possible for Nolan Shanuel, the first baseman. The second baseman is Kyle Velazquez, shortstop Keith Torres, third baseman Rocco Pepe. Danny Nerai, second straight game behind the dish. As here's the 0-2, swung on, fouled straight back into the screen. Count will stay. No balls and 2 strikes.
Likely could have hit the window in front of us if there was no screen there.
Galvin Morris, the Big Train's associate head coach, is currently the bench boss as Farquhar gets under this one, sends it into shallow right center field. Coming in from right is Matt Thomas to get under that one and wrap up a 1-2-3 first inning for Luke Baker and this Big Train defense. Doyle, Johnson, and Thomas in the outfield grass. We head to the bottom of the first. Big Train bats coming up. Riley Johnson, a recent arrival from the University of East Carolina, will start things off here in his first start as the leadoff hitter for the Big Train today. Following him will be Kyle Velazquez, Matt Thomas, Rocco Pepe, Kemp Alderman, the designated hitter, Danny Nerai, Nolan Shanuel, Trevor Doyle, and Keith Torres rounding out the batting order. As it's ball 1 to Riley Johnson. Trenner O'Donnell at 6'7", 245 out of Ball State from the stretch as Johnson shows bunt, can't pull it back, so it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
O'Donnell very, very much reminds me of Jason Mott, former St. Louis Cardinals closer. He's got that look to him. Not as tall. He's much taller than Mott was. I mean, he looks kind of like Garrett Cole. If you make a comment.
Pre-Yankee Garrett Cole with facial hair and locks out the back of the cap as breaking ball high and outside, ball 2.
But his windup is very similar to Jason Mott's in the way that he's like not as quick as Mott's was, where Mott was a bit like a sharp, aggressive pick up and throw. His is more slower, a more exaggerated Jason Mott windup.
O'Donnell comes set here for the 2-1 to Riley Johnson. Now kicks and delivers. That one skied foul down the left side. Strictly out of the stretch. These two teams come into today with the same number of losses. Big Train a game and a half ahead in the standings at 8-2. Alexandria 5-2, a 714 win percentage. Yes. Alexandria handed Bethesda their first loss of the season a week ago exactly, actually, 14-8, as Johnson taps this one off of the lower leg of O'Donnell and beats out a wild throw. Rounding first and heading to second. He's going to make the turn and go all the way down to third. Plenty of foul territory down the right side of Shirley Povich Field. So it's a single and advancing all the way to third on the throwing error by the pitcher, Trenner O'Donnell, and 90 feet away with no outs after just the first batter here for Bethesda.
Yeah, and not a great throw at all by O'Donnell. And it's just funny to me that pitchers who make a living by throwing 60 feet 6 inches in a straight line to home have trouble throwing to first base. I will never understand that.
So Darius Foster, who has lived in the 2 spot for most of this season so far, gets the night off. Kyle Velasquez, the second baseman out of St. Mary's of California, stepping into the right-handed batter's box here to face O'Donnell with the first run of this one 90 feet away and trying to deliver it home pretty quickly as he takes a cut at this one, sends it straight back into the screen.
And it makes sense that Foster's being rested in this first game. You got 2 games today, so you want him for the second one and don't want it to be a getaway game in the second one. That's why you see some different guys in the lineup tonight, like Riley Johnson making his batting debut tonight.
Got 1 at-bat last night. First start here. We'll play 9 innings in this game. We'll play 7 in the game scheduled to start at 7 p.m., of course, pending the conclusion of this one as well as any weather potentially in the area. Velasquez, 286 on the year, 12 runs scored, 10 hits, 6 doubles, and 5 RBIs. Would love to make it an even 6 right here. 0-2 from O'Donnell, comes set at the belt. And outside with the changeup, ball 1.
Good job of expanding the strike zone there. If you're Trenner O'Donnell, trying to get his eyes outside as you work inside potentially here for strike 3.
Name we're familiar with way behind the dish in blue. Andrew Peltola, the home plate umpire. Greg Kiewit, the first base. Paul Porto down the third base line. And here's the 1-2 from O'Donnell. Swung on. Flied down towards the Alexandria bullpen and over it. Nearly out of Povich Field by Velasquez. We'll stay 1-2. O'Donnell in his freshman year at Ball State. 33 2/3 innings pitched. A 3.74 ERA. 34 strikeouts, 12 walks. 14 earned runs and 32 hits allowed. 3 homers off him. And a 2-2 record as this one is a broken bat bloop single into right field that will score Johnson easily from third. Velasquez will take a hefty round around first and head back with the game's first RBI, making it 1-0 Big Train here in the bottom of the first.
Very well placed hit there for Kyle Velasquez. Poked it to the right side where no one was playing. Just dropped it right into no man's land. And an RBI single, and one it'll take any day of the week.
And that piece of lumber died a hero for Kyle Velasquez as it delivers an RBI single in the first run of this game for Bethesda. A batter stepping into the box now that is plenty familiar with delivering runs home. That's Matt Thomas, the team's leader in RBIs this season. And he comes to the bat here with one on. Not in scoring position yet is Kyle Velasquez. And nobody out. 14 RBIs on the season for Matt Thomas. 3 solo home runs as well, including what stood as the go-ahead one last night. Of course, Big Train unable to hang on down the stretch. Correction, 4th home run of the night last night as Velasquez thought about going, throw behind him, and he gets over to second safely. He was the back check from Fitzpatrick, the catcher, over to Morgan at first. A little pump fake there from Fitzpatrick allowed Velasquez to get that extra step he needed to get down to second. Morgan to Farquhar, the second baseman, not in time. So it's a stolen base for Kyle Velasquez, and now a runner in scoring position for Matt Thomas.
Yeah, and Thomas has thrived in these situations this season. The team leader in RBI, and it would behoove him here to get another one.
441 hitter as he takes an off-speed pitch straight over the pipe for strike 2. Strike 1. 1-1. O'Donnell looking back at Velasquez standing off second. Now comes home with the 1-1 and a swing and a miss there from Matt Thomas. Got a piece of it back to Fitzpatrick's glove, but it'll be 1-2 now. Fitzpatrick, the catcher. Scott Morgan, the first baseman. Garrett Farquhar, the second baseman. Connor Offshack, the third baseman. Adam Tellier, the shortstop. And from left to right, McRae, Hall, and Migliaccio in the outfield. Velasquez goes on the 1-2. Throw down. Nobody covering, and not in time to get Kyle Velasquez anyway, who, again, puts a Big Train runner just 90 feet away from scoring.
Pair of stolen bases here in this opening inning here for Kyle Velasquez, moving quick and moving fast out there on the base paths and trying to get his best. I mean, in the 2-hole tonight, he's trying to do his best Darius Foster impression.
6 swiped bags on the year now for Velasquez. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Thomas at the dish. And he sends this one down the right field line. That's going to stay fair and score Velasquez from third. Thomas will round second, have a chance, or round first, and head to second with a stand-up double as he laced that one down the right field line for his 15th RBI of the year in the second Big Train run here in the first inning.
Scoreless streak or scoreless outing no longer here for Trenner O'Donnell, who pitched 3 solid innings in his only other start, and now he's behind the 8 ball again. It looks like we have a lot of friends out there in left center field as well.
Maybe one of the youth teams that was playing at one of the adjacent fields here at Cabin John Regional Park. As Rocco Pepe steps to the plate now and takes a hefty cut at the first one. Fouls it back behind Fitzpatrick.
Earliest start time we've had of any game this season. Taking over the 6 o'clock crown.
Yeah, looks like some young ball fans. Nice uniforms they have. Gray with the Maryland flag on the sleeves. As Pepe gets ready to take the 0-1. No outs here in the bottom of the first as the breaking ball finds the zone again. 0-2 now on the third baseman out of Long Beach State, Rocco Pepe. The Pepe family, normally one of the biggest friends of this show, but they're here in the crowd tonight, all the way out from the Sunshine State of California. And ready to watch Rocco take the 0-2 and chop this one down the third base line and foul. Pepe 500 on the year in his 30 at-bats. 15 hits and 15 runs scored. 5 doubles, a triple, a home run as well. 5 walks, and as we've mentioned plenty, 8 hit by pitches worn. You'd love to get a bat and not a body on a baseball here as he gets set to take the 0-2 from Trenner O'Donnell. Thomas leads off second. This one is up the left field side of the infield. Thomas down to third. Pepe on to get that batting average well over 500 now. And it's runners on the corner, still nobody out for the mighty righty, the designated hitter tonight, Kemp Alderman out of Ole Miss.
And I was just about to say, Cade Fitzpatrick absolutely has to go out to the mound to talk to O'Donnell here. 4 straight hits to start the inning. No outs recorded, and things are starting to fall apart pretty quickly here for the Alexandria Aces. And it's not even it's just the bottom of the first inning.
So in the white pants, green top, black batting hat, here comes Kemp Alderman with no outs and 2 on. Pepe short lead off first. Thomas tight lead off third. Out of the stretch, O'Donnell delivers. Good off speed, straight over the middle. And Alderman looks at strike 1.
It's been a rough go of things of late for Kemp Alderman. Has not had a hit in a long while, but he's hit a couple of balls pretty hard. He went 0 for 5 last night and 0 for 5 the night before.
He certainly has the power to make things a whole lot different with one swing of the bat. Saw it the other night against South County. And he cracks the 0-1 up the middle. That's going to be another RBI. Pepe will round second and dart back. And the hit parade continues. Make it 3-0 Big Train here in the bottom of the first. 2 on and still nobody out. And coming out to check on Trenner O'Donnell is the Alexandria coaching staff.
Been a pretty tough inning, as you'll see. There is some stirring out there in the right field bullpen, but I don't think anyone is up to pitch. And, yeah, just a not great outing whatsoever for Trenner O'Donnell here in the first inning. 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned. And, or excuse me, I think it's 2 earned because he had the error. So, just been a tough start to this one.
Have to double check that one, whether it was a reached on a single or a throwing error. So all 3 games underway. Scoreless in Gaithersburg between the Giants and the DC Grays. Scoreless in Silver Spring, Tacoma as well as the South County Braves visit the T-Bolts. Johnson reached first on a single, so it's 3 earned runs. Advanced to second and third on the throwing error by the pitcher as Danny Neary delivers one deep to left center field, but under it to make the grab is Josh Hall, the center fielder. Pepe advances on the sacrifice down to third. Alderman stays at first, and it's the first out of the game for the Alexandria defense.
Yeah, sacrifice fly there for Danny Neary as he gave that ball a ride, but Sean Ewell has a chance to get a run in here with another one.
Sean Ewell, the first baseman tonight, he got to kick his legs up last night. Take a night off. Sean Ewell on the year, 161, but has delivered in key times. 5 hits, 5 runs, 8 RBIs, 6 walks drawn. He's worn 4 as well. And has a chance here with runners on the corners and 1 out.
Yeah, slumping of late is Nolan Sean Ewell. It's been a quiet slump. It's not one that you've noticed too much because he's been pretty well placing his hits. Come at big times for this squad.
Takes a look at strike 1 there, catching the outside edge. 1-1. O'Donnell kicking and delivering. In there for a strike, says Andrew Peltola, and it's 1-2.
We'll see how good of a game Peltola calls tonight. I think he's been one of the infield umpires at least a couple times we've had him, but hopefully his home plate prowess is pretty good.
So 1-2 now to Sean Ewell out of Florida Atlantic as Alderman goes from first. This one chopped up, eliminating double play. And it's an RBI ground out to the shortstop for Nolan Sean Ewell, who again can't quite get the hit across, but does his job. Brings the 4th run of the game home for the Bethesda Big Train.
Yeah, sacrifice RBI there for big Nolan Sean Ewell, and see what Trevor Doyle does here.
So Alderman, the lone runner for the big train on the base path still. He stands off second base. Trevor Doyle, the left fielder. Just 5 games for him so far. 15 at-bats, 4 hits, 4 runs. Single double, 3 runs batted in. Out of Sacramento State. Stands in here with 2 outs. The lefty, and takes the first pitch from O'Donnell outside. Doyle, a .450 on base percentage, .333 slugging. As Alderman goes down to third, hit and run on, but Doyle laces this one straight to the first baseman, Morgan, who flips it over the head of O'Donnell coming in to cover. It's another throwing error on the Alexandria defense. Alderman comes home, racing around third from second. It's 5 runs across. Doyle over to second, reaching on the throwing error by the first baseman, Scott Morgan.
It's been a very poor defensive inning for Alexandria. They haven't gotten to any of these baseballs, and when they do, they throw them away. It's just been a very rough defensive outing for this team, and it's just the first inning still.
So still 2 outs, and again a runner in scoring position here for Keith Torres at the bottom of the order here in the 9-hole. Wearing number 9 out at shortstop today. He's made a couple really fantastic defensive plays in that spot. Back-to-back Sacramento State players here with Doyle and now Torres, as the Big Train have batted through this first inning and brought 5 runs home. All 5 batters, the first 5 batters of the game for the Big Train, have all come home to score. As Torres looks at one on the inside edge for strike 1. 1-1. Torres .333 on the year, 15 at-bats as well, 6 games. 5 hits, 9 runs as he checks his swing and fouls that one straight to Dylan Spilko running social media, who manages to wedge it between the side of his head and his shoulder.
Attaboy, Dylan.
That was something. I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
I didn't even catch where it went, but Dylan Spilko making an incredible play down there.
And then what a great guy. Hands it straight off to a fan behind home plate.
Nothing like Dylan Spilko out there.
1-2 here to Keith Torres. Runner goes from second, and able to catch him in a rundown is O'Donnell. And tagged out by the second baseman there, Tellier. And so Trevor Doyle caught trying to swipe third off of second. Keith Torres will stay at the bat when the Big Train come up in the bottom of the second. But first, a chance to play some defense now with a 5-run lead. We head to the top of the second on Big Train TV. Luke Baker back out there for his second inning of work.
And he can just put it in cruise control here, up 5.
Don't expect that as he gets a first pitch fly out to Matt Thomas from Adam Tellier. Didn't even have time to read his name before he sent that one scorching out there to right field for Matt Thomas to deal with. So Tellier down quickly. Scott Morgan, the first baseman, will step to the bat now, wearing number 32.
Consecutive F9s for across 2 innings for the Alexandria Aces. Garrett Farquhar flew out to right his last time up.
Baker looking to pick right back up where he left it.
He's ready to go, and Scott Morgan's barely in the plate. We made the comp to Adam Dunn, Scott Morgan. Looks a lot like him.
(1-0) to Morgan now, and Bender there from Luke Baker gets over the plate for strike one. Now the 1-1, another broken bat. This right to Velazquez at second. Flips over. So 5 pitches here in the bottom of the second and 2 very quick outs as Morgan not as worthy of a sacrifice of the lumber there for Morgan as it was for Velazquez.
He lost about 85% of that lumber.
Yeah, that was well down towards the handle. Splintered everywhere, collected by the Alexandria on-deck circle. And now another quick swing from Connor Offshack.
And at this point,
And it's a quick strike one.
You can't attack if you're the Aces. You're down 5. You got to work the count a little bit and get aboard.
And that's what I was going to say at the very beginning of this inning when Tellier stepped to the box. As check swing there, but a ball just a bit outside for Baker, 1-1. I don't think Baker's necessarily trying to put this in cruise control. He's trying to shut down the Aces as quickly as he can because the Big Train have seen up close and personal how dangerous this batting rotation can be. As a couple of fans trying to get away with the broken bat there. Not so fast, said Bruce Adams, president of Big Train and founder, of course. As this one runs inside for a strike on Offshack, 2-2. And breaking ball just outside. Good effort there to get Offshack to chase. And now as many pitches in this at-bat as Baker has had to throw to retire the previous 2 Aces batters. Here's the 3-2. Swung on and missed by Offshack. 6 up, 6 down for Luke Baker. 5-0 lead heading to the bottom of the second with Torres, Johnson, Velazquez due up for Bethesda. Keith Torres back into the box and straight away wears that one off the front shoulder. And so it's been an eventful trip and a half to the batting box for Keith Torres. Had Trevor Doyle gunned out on the base paths to end the the bottom of the first, pardon, as he looked to turn the batting order over. Now does it a little more painfully here as he brings up Riley Johnson with one on and nobody out. And the Big Train looking to add a couple more to this 5-run lead here in the bottom of the second.
Think about it. It could potentially be 2 7-inning games. But for now, Johnson just has to keep the line moving.
Johnson shows bunt, pulls back, but a called strike anyways from Peltola behind the dish. Johnson singled, reached second on the throwing error by the pitcher to start this one off as O'Donnell back on the mound, checks back lazily on Torres at first.
I don't know about that pickoff move there. Kind of just lollipopped it over to first base. That
always good just to remind the runner that you're there, you're thinking about him. And now Torres goes, firing down to second way high and not in time as Keith Torres, reaches second base safely.
Yeah, and he still goes, and maybe almost
Born to run,
making fun,
says the DJ.
I don't know if he's allowed to do that.
Well, Johnson's not in the batter's box, so he is. And now as he steps in, the music fades down.
The very poor pickoff move by O'Donnell.
Yeah, I like to keep some sort of neutrality sometimes, at least in my mind. But almost deserved to have that base stolen after that pickoff move, as this one's in the dirt for ball 2 on Riley Johnson.
I do too, but I'll point it out when it's not really as good as I would. You want to at least make an attempt to get the out there. And then Torres sort of just making fun of him on the base pass.
Torres got a great jump, and there was no chance for Cade Fitzpatrick behind the dish. Throw a little high and to the right. As swing at the 2-1 and lacing this one into right field. Torres will trot into third. Runners on the corners and nobody out. A familiar scenario here for the Big Train and for Kyle Velasquez, looking for his second RBI of this game already.
And
as
how about
Fitzpatrick will head back to the mound to talk this one through.
And how about Riley Johnson? 2 for 2 in his first start. Exactly what you want to see.
Absolutely. Johnson out of East Carolina, as we mentioned before. 5'8", 170 outfielder. Had a fantastic play in center yesterday, as we'll get a mound visit. The second already here with technically only through 1 inning, as this may be it for Trenner O'Donnell. Some action in the Alexandria bullpen. And getting told to hurry things up there. Ben Kumi sitting on the water cooler at the front step, gesturing down to whoever it is throwing down there.
Yeah, his trainer out on the mound.
Looking at O'Donnell's hand, it seems. Dr. Christy Voigt, Kaylin Condon, her intern, do such great work for the Big Train and for the visiting teams as well. Looks like it's the righty Nick Brown, rising sophomore, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, warming as O'Donnell's day will be done. Strides back to the dugout with the athletic trainer right next to him. And it seems like Nick Brown will have as much time as he needs to get warm with the injury substitution for Trenner O'Donnell. 5-0 Big Train, runners on the corners. 1 inning plus for O'Donnell as he heads back to the dugout to be substituted. We'll introduce Brown and talk some more after this word from the Dandy Walker.
1 in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy Walker syndrome. Dandy Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
Some confusion about the new pitcher here for Alexandria. We believe it's the lefty Colton Book wearing number 19, not Nick Brown, the sophomore from Milwaukee. We said it was because that's how it's listed on the roster. Always an adventure when it comes to the shifting rosters and numbers here in the CRCBL, but Book delivering 2 consecutive strikes here to Kyle Velasquez.
Yeah, committed to Stony Brook and out of Manheim Central, which is a bit closer my way in Pennsylvania. It's about an hour from my house, hour and 15 maybe, give or take. It's in the middle of the farmlands of PA.
Class of 2021 as he gets a swing and miss there. Foul tip. 6'3", 195. Bats right, throws left. Played for the Keystone State Bombers in travel. 89 fastball, curveball, changeup, slider. As Velasquez goes the other way and gets that one to drop and rolling all the way towards Hugh Adams' retired number in the right field corner. Rounding third, heading home is Johnson. Heading to third for a stand-up 3-bagger is Kyle Velasquez with his second RBI and the 6th run of the day for the Big Train.
And it all comes crashing down on the former pitcher O'Donnell, whose line is now done. His line is complete. 6 earned runs, and Book greeted very rudely.
And so again, a runner 90 feet away from scoring yet again for Matt Thomas. Out of the College of William and Mary, doubled and got another RBI, his 15th of the season in his last trip to the plate. And with Velasquez tripling home Johnson in front of him, Thomas takes a breaking ball on the outside edge for ball 1 from Colton Book, who is now responsible for a runner of his own after, of course, Johnson scoring from all the way from first on the triple by Velasquez. 7 runs with no outs here in the bottom of the second as the Aces greeted as rudely as they greeted the Big Train again last week, a week ago today, their last trip here to Povich Field. They hung 7 on Big Train starter Jake Eddington in his Bethesda debut in the first frame of that game. And the Big Train have answered here with 7 through 1 inning plus. Again, no outs here in the bottom of the second. And a runner 90 feet away from making it 8.
And just want to give a quick shout out to Lexi Revkin, one of our good friends here, intern friends. It's her birthday today and celebrating it with a big output here in this first game.
And it might get a little bit bigger there as Matt Thomas works a walk. So again, runners on the corners for Rocco Pepe, who singled and came all the way around to score. And Len, if you're watching, come say hi, please. We'd love to meet face to face. As checking back on Thomas and balking is Colton Book, so that's one way to bring home the 8th run of the day. As Velasquez touches home on the balk, Thomas over to second. And it's 8-0 Big Train.
Runs in bunches today and all through the first couple of innings. Love to see that.
Now here's a scoring question for you. Is that an RBI for Pepe?
No, it's a balk. Balks do not count as RBI if they have a runner come in and score because he did not bat the run in. If it's a walk, it would be a balk. No.
A 1-0 to Pepe. In there at the chest. 1 ball, 1 strike. One from Book. And thinking inside was Pepe. That's strike 2. Peltola behind the dish. Home plate umpire. Slight waggle of the bat. Thomas goes from second. Pepe swinging, driving this one into right field. Migliaccio's got a ways to go, but able to run it down. And Thomas will have to retreat back to second. Good hit and run opportunity there. Pepe trying to curl that one into the corner where Velazquez got his triple, but able to get that one was Migliaccio. So it's a first out of this second inning. And that will bring up, for the second time today, designated hitter Kep Alderman.
And how about that long run? Great play there by Migliaccio in right field to track that down. That was a very, very long run.
So number 33 in green, stepping into the box now. He had an RBI single in the first inning.
Also want to wish a happy birthday to good friend Zach Locke out there in the bullpen. First of our Big Train birthdays this season, I believe.
I believe you are correct in that, dear sir. Ryan Lynch will celebrate his the 21st. As Alderman takes ball one. Here's the 1-0. Swung on and lashed into the gap in left center field. Thomas will score from second easily. That one rolls past Hall all the way to the wall. Alderman gunning for third. Throw down. Gets by off Shack, and Alderman took a couple of steps towards home. But it's another triple for the Big Train here in the bottom of the second, and another RBI for Kemp Alderman.
They got to give him a triple on that one. That one, he was running all the way through. It was misplayed in center field by Hall, and getting to third base on that, chugging at third base is the big Kemp Alderman.
Triple indeed.
Absolutely. He deserves it in every sense of the word. That might be the only triple we see from him this season, but it comes to make it a 9-0 ball game.
I mean, so he's a big guy, right?
Yeah.
You know, 6'3", 250. Nobody's going to sneeze at that size. But he runs so smoothly. He doesn't look slow. He doesn't really look fast. He almost glides. He gets those big legs chugging, and he's able to work the triple.
I think it's the closest Pete Alonso comp I've ever seen. I mean, he is exactly like him in every sense of the word. He's a righty. He's got a similar batting stance to him. He's got big power, and when he runs, he's trucking it around the bases.
So how about that to break the duck? Like you said, 0 for 10 in the last two games. And 2 RBIs, a single, a triple, halfway to the cycle through 2 innings now for Kemp Alderman.
And he could do it. I could see him doing it. If he gets a double, he's got the power, obviously, to get a double and a home run out of the way as well.
Those might be the 2 easiest ones for him to get.
Have yet to
Nirai pops this one back over our heads. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yet to see a cycle this season for the Big Train, and surprisingly, with all the offense we've seen.
Yeah, plenty of way to go. I believe that's the 4th triple of the season. Brady Gump has one. Pepe has one. And now Danny Nirai has at least 2 as he lashes this one past Offshack at third. He'll round second, thinking about 3. Takes a couple steps and heads back to second. It's an RBI double for Danny Nirai. After the sacrifice fly in the first, he gets his 3rd hit of the year in style there.
Yeah, and they're just rolling over the Aces right now. Aces, unfortunately, are the jokers in this game, down 10-0.
10-0 after 2. Well on their way. A reminder, the mercy rule here in the CRCBL, 12 runs after 7 do have to play the full 7 innings. So at least 5 more on the card here in Game 1 of this 2-game doubleheader, with the Big Train holding a 10-0 lead with just 1 out. Here in the bottom of the second for Nolan Shanuel. Runner in scoring position is Danny Nirai. And strike 1 on Shanuel. And looking at a breaking ball, and down 0-2 now.
I believe it's 6 of 9 Big Train have hits already in this one, and wouldn't Shanuel love to get off the duck as well? Here with another hit, because everybody's checking in tonight. It's like the Hotel California.
Shanuel golfing at one, sending it way high in the air towards Farquhar. Migliaccio coming in from right, but not nearly enough. I mean, that was a huge uppercut from Nolan Shanuel, and it's the 2nd out of the inning.
Yeah, and we'll see what Trevor Doyle's up to here. Reached on an error his last time up. Doyle hasn't really gotten a chance to shine here for the Big Train, being overshadowed a bit by a lot of the other players on offense. Reached on an error, of course, his last time up. Look at that big leg kick.
Colton Book now responsible for 2 runs, plus Danny Nerai out at second. 7 across charged to Trenner O'Donnell, the 6'7", 245 starting pitcher. Out of Southlake, Texas.
You think now Luke Baker could put it in cruise control?
No, I think he's going to come out with the same mentality he's shown through 2 innings. Time called by either Peltola or Doyle. He didn't really gesture towards Doyle, so maybe just the umpire. But either way, time called as Book started his stride towards home. Now comes set, hands at the chest for the 1-1 to Doyle, and swinging, chopping this one up the right side of the infield and through to Migliaccio in left. Throw coming home, play at the plate. Fitzpatrick cutting it off. No chance to get Nerai scoring on the RBI single for Trevor Doyle.
Doyle checks in, like I said, with a base hit. Now it's 7 of 9 Big Train players without a hit, and Keith Torres can add to that here. 0 for 2 or 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly, or excuse me, 0 for 2. Snow and Sean Ewell. It's been a big day at the plate for everybody here, and they're that 1 run away from that witching run of 12. But, of course, lots of time left in this one.
Big Train have officially batted through here in the second inning. Came close in the first. And Torres taking a cut at this one, sending it back into the pole behind home plate.
And I wonder what playing in a blowout is like for the other side. You know, do you sort of just tighten up a bit at the plate or just not really trying? I would love to see what the people have to say about that.
As Torres gets under this one, sending it out towards shallow right field. Farquhar out from second base to get under that one and glove it for the end. So Torres, the only player to come to the bat twice here in the bottom of the second inning, as Big Train brings in 6 more to make it an 11-0 game heading to the top of the third here in Big Train. Chandler Riley, Blake McCrae, Cade Fitzpatrick, 7-8-9 here for Alexandria in the top of the third, looking to answer anything offensively. Find themselves in an 11-0 hole here at Povich Field. Could be a long day of baseball for the Aces in the first game of this doubleheader. 1-1 now on Riley, the designated hitter.
And I know I said cruise control before, but Baker definitely can just settle in here. Not have to worry about too much traffic on the base pass if they do get on.
Swinging and missing through that one is the lefty Riley. Bats left, throws right. 5'10", 180, rising sophomore at UNC Charlotte, Concord, North Carolina native. And able to check his swing on a big breaker there from Luke Baker outside in the dirt. Ball 2.
A lot of great breaking stuff on this staff. I think my favorite has to be Zach Locks, though. The way it just spins in there, and he has complete control of it.
Chopping that one between the legs of Danny Neary behind the dish. Riley, 4 games, 250 batting average, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 2 RBIs, 9 strikeouts. As this one heads outside, sends the count full.
Yeah, still looking for their first base runner in this game are the good old Alexandria Aces. Not playing like aces in the first 2 innings, though, unfortunately.
So here's the 3-2 payoff pitch from Baker. High and tight for ball 4. And way to go, Tyler. Heck of a jinx there from you. As base runner number 1 is Chandler Riley on the base on balls.
Well, it had to come at some point.
Might as well get it out of the way here, right?
Absolutely. Sky's starting to maybe clear up a little bit.
Yeah, some sun peeking out there from right center field. As Blake McRae, the left fielder, comes to bat and takes this one off the mitt of Neary. Over to second is Riley on the pass ball.
Yeah, pass ball straight up, hit the mitt.
That's the general rule of thumb, so to say, emphasis on the thumb part in the mitt.
And Luke Baker doesn't really have to concern himself with the runners on here. You know, up 11 runs.
Okay, I just this is going to be mostly the way it's being worded. There's a difference between cruise control and not having to worry about every runner getting on base.
Right.
Just don't think the pedal is off the metal yet for Luke Baker and Big Train overall. As
Still
we
got to get
said,
to that.
Galvin Morris, the acting head coach, Coach Sal, watching his daughter compete in the Virginia State Soccer Finals down in Fairfax. Good luck to them. He'll be here for the second game. Coach G,
More than capable.
more than capable, and also not having to do much.
And Ben, rain is out of the forecast.
Knock on wood. Yeah. 3-1 on Blake McRae now.
No relation
Second
to.
straight.
I'll let you complete your
Second
statement there.
straight 3-ball count.
Yeah, there's no relation
Baker.
to legends of the game, Hal McRae and Brian McRae, 2 former Major League players. Also, one of the first fathers to manage their sons in the major leagues. If you think about that, you know, you think of Billy Ripken, obviously, but Hal McRae managed his son Brian. Son Brian, I've interacted with a few times. Very nice guy on Twitter. You know, posted a few of his home runs on my Mets Home Run a Day account. He had a pretty good season for the Mets in 1998. I think he hit 19 or 20 home runs, just out of nowhere. But he was a very good player.
So
Very underappreciated player.
second straight walk issued by Luke Baker, and Craig Lopez, the pitching coach, will head out there for a quick chat, make sure everything's all right. We'll get a couple trots down to the bullpen for on the Big Train side of things.
What's funny is Hal McRae retired 3 years before his son made his debut. If you always think about, they could have played on the same team, but you always think about
Griffey.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at there, because longtime Kansas City Royal Hal, and of course, played several years in the Royals organization to Brian.
Catcher Cade Fitzpatrick to the dish for the first time and taking a wild cut at a breaking ball there.
Double play in order here, and you'd love that if you're Luke Baker.
Triple play in order even. No outs, 2 runners on.
You know, I was at a game that ended in an unassisted triple play.
I did not.
Yep, I was at the Eric Bruntley game.
We saw one the other night from the New York Yankees, I believe.
Unassisted triple plays are much rarer in Major League history. They're a lot like perfect games. And even more rare is one to end the game. I think it's only happened twice. You know, Eric Bruntlett, what happened on that play was, and often in unassisted triple plays, you know, the runners were going on a line drive right to the second baseman, and he just tapped the base.
Big cut there. So 3 pitches, 3 strikes from Cade Fitzpatrick, and he's the 3rd strikeout victim of the day for Luke Baker. 1 out, 2 on for Josh Hall in the top of the Alexandria order.
Yeah, speedy Josh Hall tapped it right back to Baker his first time up. Easiest play Baker will ever have to make.
I think the strikeout might be a little easier.
Well, easiest fielding play.
Sure.
Just we got to ask him at some point this season what's the deal with the orange shoes, because they're not his school.
They're just orange shoes.
I know. I'm just surprised that you don't see that splash of color with the Big Train uniforms. The only
kicks
unique
and
ones.
delivers with those orange-clad feet, and chopped this one foul to Josh Hall. 1-1.
Big Train, the only non-blue, white, or red team in this league, or team that has at least one unique color. There's no unique colors in this league except for blue and white and red. Big Train have green. That's the only really unique one.
Hall gets underneath this one, sends it out into shallow right. Coming in is Thomas. He calls off Velazquez going out onto the outfield grass, and it's a very high second out off the bat of Josh Hall. So Migliaccio will step to the bat, and a chance for Luke Baker to strand both of his first 2 base runners of this game.
Yeah, Baker just working, from the stretch for the first time we've seen today. So love to see him adjust as he goes along.
Gets a swing and a miss on the first pitch to Anthony Migliaccio, the right fielder. Again, a Vanderbilt commit. Has been a Vanderbilt commit since 2017, if you can believe that, for the young man who will recently graduated from high school, as this one's outside and in the dirt.
Yeah, but speaking of the Yankees turning triple plays, that was the second one they've turned this season.
So 1-1 on Migliaccio here with 2 outs. Baker from the stretch. Outside for ball 2. This may be a very random note. Danny Neride behind the dish. He's wearing the hockey-style catcher's mask, right, as opposed to the traditional strap mask. He's wearing his hat. He's wearing his hat underneath it. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, as this one runs well inside on Migliaccio for ball 3.
So, actually,
I've seen batters wear hats underneath their helmets. But wearing a backwards cap under the hockey goalie mask as a catcher, I don't know if I've seen that before.
Well, there's been catchers in history that have worn hats under their helmet. I can't recall any off the top of my head, if you can believe that. But I know there's been some.
3-1 grounded towards Pepe. Not able to get in front of that one, so that's going to get through. Run coming home. Firing in from left is Doyle, but a little high to Nerai at the dish. So coming home to score on the RBI single for Migliaccio is Chandler Riley from second, and Alexandria breaks the zeros on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Baker, maybe not concerning himself with the runners on this inning, but he also would like to get out of it pretty quickly. The 1 run, really not that big of a deal from a standpoint of where he is right now in the game.
Hard hit ball, took a weird hop past Pepe a little bit too much towards the hole. And Torres not able to get over to back up quick enough. So the first hit of the game against Luke Baker is an RBI single from Anthony Migliaccio. Still 2 on, 2 out for Garrett Farquhar. Flew out to Thomas and right.
And hit a mammoth 3-run home run off of Jack Braley earlier this season. And it's mammoth in every sense of the word. He cleared the scoreboard, which we haven't seen too often here.
Tough to do. one of the deepest parts of the park. This one to one of the shallowest. Chopped up the middle. Torres straight to the second base bag. 6U for Farquhar to end this one. But 2 walks and a single to Migliaccio end up costing Baker the shutout. It's 11-1 as we head to the bottom of the third here from Povich Field. Riley Johnson and the top of the order here for the big train in the bottom of the third. Looking to get that 1 run right back as Johnson sending this one towards center field, but shallow enough for Farquhar to range over from second base and retire him on 2 pitches. First time Johnson's been sent back to the dugout empty-handed.
I don't know about the hot dogging of it, flipping it back to the infielder and completely missing him.
Not the hot dogs we appreciate here at Shirley Povich Field. Those would, of course, be Catalyst Hot Dog over behind the third base grandstand.
I think I'll be traipsing down there after this game's over.
I mean, we were lucky enough to have Chris from Catalyst send up a couple for our sampling the other night. But, man, they just don't get old. They're just so good. And I guess we were talking about this because he mentioned it to me when I went down there before the game. As it's 1-0 here to Velazquez, who's 2 for 2 with a single, a triple, and an RBI. Also halfway to the cycle, Kyle Velazquez. The double might be a little easier for him to get than the home run compared to Kemp Alderman. But I guess we were talking about last time about the way he splits the dog. Because a lot of times you'll see, people just do like 3 little diagonal slices down the length of the dog, but he does it with a cross cut towards the end of the dog, so it comes out in kind of 4 sectors. He calls it the helicopter cut, and it's not necessarily a technique thing or anything. It's just the way his dad used to do it.
It's very distinct.
It's very distinct, absolutely.
The style and the taste of the hot dogs are very distinct, and I'll tell you that. And if you get down at Povich Field, anybody watching here, you absolutely need to try them as Velazquez swings and misses there for strike 3.
Velazquez softly cutting at the breaking ball there from Colton Book as Thomas steps back to the dish.
That reminds me of the SB Nation video or Secret Base where they said, Zaza weakly collared Udonis. And it's like, I don't think I'd ever say that sentence ever. Softly collared Udonis. Zaza Pachulia, Udonis Haslam. Back in the worst playoff series ever, according to them.
Was that when Zaza was still in the Warriors?
No, it was Atlanta Hawks versus the Joe Johnson Atlanta Hawks versus the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
The Dwayne Wade Miami Heat before LeBron was there.
Thomas gives this one a ride to center field. That one's going to take a hop in front of Hall. And so Thomas, how about this? Halfway to the cycle as well.
And I hate
but he still needs the triple.
Yeah, I hate to make this analogy right here, but when it rains, it pours for the defense of the Alexandria Aces. That was a poor route taken to it by the center fielder Hall. I mean, he started back and then moved in.
Maybe
And
would have
maybe-
had a chance
yeah.
at a spectacular diving play coming in from deep center field. Instead, Thomas on safely for the third time in three plate appearances, 2 at bats as he walked before coming around to score. As Pepe gives this one a ride to center field, going back is Hall, and a few steps shy of the warning track, he gets under it to collect it for out 3. So Big Train held scoreless in a frame for the first time tonight. Still 11-1 as we head to the top of the 4th here on Big Train. Tellier Morgan off shack 4-5-6 here for the Alexandria Aces in the top of the 4th.
Tell my Morgan what?
Game moving right along. As Tellier, the shortstop, takes a cut at that one. Doing my best to ignore you after that.
I'm sorry about that one. I had to.
1-1 swung on and missed by Tellier. 1-2. Took a hefty cut there, and Baker fired it past. Baker looking to put himself into position for a win here. Trying to reach that 5th inning. Have to get through this one first.
And we'll see how
Plenty of run cushion. So we do see some light throwing down in the Big Train pen. No mitts popping yet as the 2-2 runs inside for ball 3.
And I wonder what the leashes are like for, good old Coach G.
Every pitcher is on a pitch count. That doesn't change.
Well, I mean, if Coach G has a different
this one sent
threshold
towards Thomas and right back towards the line and reaching up, getting it on the run just inside foul play for out 1 as Tellier flies out on the full count. Morgan
pair of F9s today.
to the bat now.
Pair of F9s today for Adam Tellier. Scott Morgan, the lank, or not just the imposing presence in the batter's box.
Morgan, an uneventful night for him in his last trip to Povich Field. 3 strikeouts, walked and scored in the 2nd. And he's the one that grounded into that spectacular play from Keith Torres at short. Takes ball 1 from Baker to start. Now this one an off speed on the outside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lovely Saturday afternoon crowd here at Shirley Povich Field as this one's fouled back in the screen for strike 2 on Scott Morgan. Bats left, throws right. Rising senior at George Mason, Woodbridge, Virginia native, same as Sal Colangelo as he golfs this one towards center field. Back is Johnson, and coming back in a few steps shy of the warning track for a pretty soft F8, and out number 2 here in the 4th.
Golfed in every sense of the word there. That ball was a mountain of a shot, but unfortunately, not far enough.
So some more contact here in the 4th for Alexandria, but nothing to endanger Luke Baker from chugging right along as Offshack sends this one square over the clubhouse here.
You got to think Baker, with the way he's been pitching in this game, could absolutely go 5.
I dropped my pitch counter in the first inning, so I haven't been good about that. As a swing and a miss there from Connor Offshack, the third baseman, has him quickly in an 0-2 hole. I mean, I could pick it back up, but at this time, at this point,
can I see it?
Yeah, sure.
Love to take a look at it.
Here's the 0-2. Baker kicks and delivers outside, trying to get Offshack chase. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We could absolutely do it for the next reliever to come in this game.
Perhaps. It's also not that effective as we don't know what the limit is. We know there is a limit. As this 1-2, breaking ball in there. Beautiful off-speed pitch from Luke Baker. His 4th strikeout of the game. First one looking for an Alexandria batter. It's his 3rd 1-2-3 inning of this game. 11-1. We head to the bottom of the 4th. You're on Big Train TV. Kemp Alderman, the designated hitter out of Ole Miss. Stepping in here, Colton Book still on the mound for Alexandria. He fires the first pitch outside for ball 1 on Alderman.
Yeah, and of course with today's game and almost all games, you can find the recap of it if you miss it on bigtrain.com.org. Bigtrain.org. Bryn Smith is on the game story tonight, so shout out to her for working on that.
Shout out to our entire writing staff as well, Quentin Corpuel and Dylan Spilko, who we've already shouted out.
We will always
down there working hard on the Twitters.
We will never pass up shouting out Dylan Spilko. I hope you know that.
The TikToks as well. All the whatever the kids are into these days, as this one is driven deep to left field, but high, and McRae is under it for out number 1. That one was high in the air and not that deep into left. McRae over towards the foul line.
Man, Kemp Alderman loves to tease you, Ben.
I mean, how would that have been if my intro into a home run call was going, whatever the kids these days are on with the TikToks and all that? I'm sure Ole Miss Twitter would have loved that. They loved the last highlight of a Kemp Alderman moonshot they got from us. At Go Big Train on Twitter. Is this one inside on
Charge the mound!
Danny Nerai.
Come on, Danny.
Slight duck down and able to avoid that one.
As Ben tries to mute me. We never silence
I was
the
just
facts.
turning down the headphones. I would never mute you, Tyler.
Too valuable?
No, my fingers were crossed. I totally would.
Come on, man. Gotta supply something as a bird flies over the field.
2-0 to Nerai, high, inside, ball 3. And Danny Nerai well ahead in the count here. We'll see what the green light's like with a 10-run cushion for the big train as Book starts his windup. And looking at that one high, no need to swing, even think about swinging for Nerai as he works the base on balls. Bring up Nolan Shanuel here with a runner on and 1 out.
Well, you know, Ben, I would have been just as excited had Alderman gone yard there because that would have been 3/4 of the way to the cycle.
Yeah, it would have. As we said, 2 RBI base knocks for Kemp Alderman, a single and a triple. An RBI sacrifice ground out for the man in the box now, lefty Nolan Shanuel.
Well, Ben,
As
this game is
Book
officially
checks over on Nerai at first.
This game is officially on cycle watch for about several players. So,
As we said, there's 3 players already halfway to the cycle. Velazquez and Shanuel driving this one foul toward the bleachers section. That went off the fence. A couple fans down there trying to get out of the way. I think there's a couple fans maybe confused about which baseball game they're at, playing Nats gear over there. As Shanuel drives this one through the legs of Danny Nerai. He's going to round second and head to third. And Shanuel is aboard, pulling that one up the right side of the infield.
and now just need a hit from Keith Torres, and everybody in this lineup will have checked in with a hit today.
Trevor Doyle singled, reached on an error in the first. And back to the plate here for his 3rd trip up. Runners on the corners and 1 out. Doyle an RBI singled to score Nerai. And he sends this one towards Farquhar at second base. To Tellier over to first for Morgan in time. 4-6-3 double play. And the inning goes quietly for the big train. Believe Nerai did not score from third in time. And so, 1 runner left aboard on the 1 hit for the big train here in the bottom of the 4th. Still an 11-1 lead heading to the top of the 5th. We'll see if Luke Baker's back on the mound when we come back on Big Train Chandler Riley leads off the top of the fifth with a high pop-up, taking forever to come down, but finally does into the mitt of Matt Thomas, the right fielder. So it's one pitch, one out for a new pitch, as you rudely interrupted me as we were going out. It's Cooper Rons, the gaucho out of Santa Barbara, coming in looking to eat up some innings here in middle relief. Luke Baker's day is done. 4 innings of work, 1 hit allowed, just 1 run, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts for the lefty Baker. And Rons picking right back up with a strike. Now into Blake McRae, the left fielder. 7-8-9 here in this inning for Alexandria. That one missed for ball 1. Rons on the year, as this one is sent again way high. Velasquez calling off Shanuel, a little bit of a better angle, and makes the catch, flipping it over to Shanuel and around the horn for a very quick 2 outs to start this thing for Cooper Rons.
Yeah, and doing his best impression of just the quick guy out there on the mound and going out there and getting 2 quick outs, 2 flyouts.
2 games for Rons, 5 2/3. 2 hits allowed, just 1 run, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, and a 2-0 record. Despite not starting a single game, gets his swing and miss from Cade Fitzpatrick, who struck out on 3 pitches back in the 3rd inning. Haven't seen Rons in a couple of days, as this one is again fouled way back over the grandstand.
I believe he's yet to allow any runs this season.
Nope, just 1. Just the 1 Ron. As here's the 0-2. Swung. Chopped towards Torres at shortstop. He'll take the hop and fire it over to Shanuel. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Cooper Rons as he sends the bottom of the Alexandria order down. In order. Due up for the Big Train Torres, and then the top of the order, the bottom of the 5th, 11-1 on Big Train TV. Here's a word from our sponsor at the Dan.
1 in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy Walker syndrome. Dandy Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
So again, a new pitcher for Alexandria. It's number 41, Gloucher. Do we have a first name? No. Do we have a school? No. Do we have any other information? No. We work with what we got, and for now, it's strike 1 from Gloucher on to Torres, the shortstop. Looking to act as the double leadoff here. And sending this one way up in the air. Playable for Fitzpatrick behind the dish. And instead bounces harmlessly off a ball collected by a fan here in the Miller and Long home plate grandstand. So 0-2 now on Torres, quickly in the hole. Torres was hit by a pitch and scored in the second, flew out to center. Also in the second, both of his at-bats came in the single frame as he grounds this one foul. Smoothly barehanded by Coach Galvin Morris there at third base. Fantastic play by Coach G. And we'll do it again at 0-2 on Torres. Gloucher, another pitcher for Alexandria, working solely from the stretch. Now steps off the rubber, taps that back foot, and leans in again for the sign from Fitzpatrick. Comes set, hands high at the chest. Slow kick, delivers, and grounded foul this time down the first base line by Keith Torres. And again, no balls and 2 strikes. Gloucher comes set. Front foot up. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball just a bit inside behind the back of Keith Torres, who ducked down to avoid wearing his second hit by pitch of the day. And first ball on Torres this at bat, 1-2. Still trying to dig up some info on 41 in Greg Gloucher. As a breaking ball in there on the 1-2. Breaks just back inside. And Torres goes down looking for the first out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Good pitch there from the pitcher. We'll figure out. It's Glencher. Paul Glencher.
Glencher.
I figured there was an N in there.
Oh, he is on the roster. So he's wearing 22. Him and O'Donnell, I guess, just switched jerseys. Because Glencher's listed as 22. O'Donnell listed, the starting pitcher, listed as 41. And he bends a good breaking ball inside on Keith Torres for the first big train, or the second big train strikeout of this one. First by Paul Glencher. Baseball coaches really need to work on their handwriting, Tyler.
Yeah.
You and them should go to like a handwriting camp.
My handwriting is more legible than that one.
You can take Adam Gotkin from Gaithersburg with you.
Yeah. He's out of Lafayette College.
Righty, 5'11", 175, a rising junior, Vienna, Virginia native. Paul Glencher. Laying down the bunt, a little bit foul, is Riley Johnson. 0-2 now on him. Likely will pull back that bunt for good in this at-bat. Johnson 2 for 3, 2 singles, 2 runs scored, and a fly out to second back in the 3rd inning. First time he's come to the bat with an inning in between at bats. As Alexandria's pitching staff has settled in here now with 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th. Just past the bottom of the 5 o'clock hour. Johnson swinging at this one, sending it just foul down the right field line. I disagree with that one from Greg Hewitt. Looked like it kicked up some chalk, but maybe just a bit outside the right field line there. Nice smooth swing from Johnson. Going to send that down the line for his 3rd base knock of the day. Instead, we'll settle back in here for a 1-2 count from Paul Glencher. And too high. Fitzpatrick was ready to throw down to off Shack at 3rd to start the around the horn.
So many crazy names on this squad. Just give me a Smith.
Of course, Connor off Shaq at third base implies the existence of a Connor on Shaq.
Way to steal my joke from me, Ben.
Here's the 0-2 to Johnson outside. Count is full.
Come on, man.
Well, you didn't get it in, so I did.
I didn't have any reason to get it in.
You're talking about the names. That's all the reason you need. Johnson will correct the batting gloves. Steps back into the left-handed batter's box. Back foot straight against the disappearing chalk line. Glencher set for the 3-2. Swung on and grounded softly towards second base. Glove flip on. Not in time. Morgan had to stretch a snow cone snag of the glove flip from Farquhar, the second baseman. And the speedy Riley Johnson beats that one out. He's on base for the third time today.
And I'll tell you what, just the absolute speed there from Riley Johnson. Checks in with his third single. Exactly what you want to see in a nice defensive effort regardless from Farquhar. But if we want to double back to names, it's no Aaron Adams where you have to wait like 2 seconds to be called in any alphabetical order thing.
I don't know what you're trying to say there, as Kyle Velasquez steps to the box. Because Johnson going on the very first pitch and fumbling the exchange from catching mitt to hand is Fitzpatrick, as Velasquez takes strike one called.
Born to
They're
run.
Sending Riley Johnson back to first.
I have no clue what just happened. You got called out.
Totally confused. Did he? He was down at second. I got nothing.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what that was. Maybe it was a dead ball? I have no clue.
Breaking ball onto the back of Kyle Velasquez. So one base runner back to the dugout and another on with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. We'll try to figure out what exactly happened for Riley Johnson there. My guess would be that maybe he thought he was out and was just going back to first, or thought it was fouled, and the Alexandria defense was just able to lay the tag on him as he was jogging back. Miscommunication perhaps between Coach Bender down at first base and the base runner. Runner thought it was foul indeed. Now Velasquez will go, and now it will be foul as this one's tipped back by Matt Thomas up the plate. So the runner thought it was foul, was after stealing second successfully, thought it was foul, headed back to first base. And after Fitzpatrick had bobbled the throw down, Glencher was able to flip it to his right side of the infield, who softly laid the tag on Johnson, caught in no man's land. As this one is fouled back again. Velasquez looking to go. It's 0-2 now on Thomas with 2 outs. Runner on first.
Would love to see if Thomas could sock one here and reach the witching run.
11-1 here in the bottom of the 5th. Two strikes on Thomas, 2 outs. Velasquez leads off first. Morgan holding him on. Glencher checks back, now comes set, hands high at the chest. Kicks, delivers. Velasquez going, swinging is Thomas. Popping this one up down the right field line, a little bit in no man's land. Bobbled by Morgan, but he collects it with the bare hand to retire Thomas and the big train side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 runner left aboard for Bethesda on no errors by the Alexandria defense. 11-1, we head to the top of the 6th on Big Train. Josh Hall laces this one up to the left center gap on the very first pitch he sees. First hit allowed by Cooper Rons here in the top of the 6th. Second inning of work for Rons in relief of Luke Baker. So it's one aboard and nobody out now for Anthony Migliaccio. The switch hitter was batting from the right side against the lefty Baker. Now moves over to the left side against the righty Cooper Rons. And swings and misses through that one. 1 ball, 1 strike on Migliaccio. I think switch hitting has to be one of the most impressive skills. Doing it from one side is enough.
That's cool and all, but what about switch pitching?
And now a breaking ball. Caught, grounded to first from Migliaccio. Over in time. 1-6-3. A double play. Unconventionally turned by the Big Train defense. And it's 2 outs now for Garrett Farquhar.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. Switch pitching is even more impressive, also even more rare.
Yeah, 3-6-1 on that double play. But I still think the craziest double play I've ever seen, I think it was 1-5-2 or 1-2-5 or something like that, and it was a Nationals game.
This one looped into left field, reaching up and grabbing it out of the sky is Doyle. So despite the leadoff hit, it's a very quick 1-2-3-ish inning for Cooper Rons as he keeps Alexandria scoreless in the top of the 6th. Middle 6 here at Povich Field, 11-1 Big Train.
Can we play?
Rocco Pepe to lead things off as he tips this one back into the mitt of Cade Fitzpatrick, the Alexandria catcher. And Fitzpatrick, another interesting note in terms of catcher gear. He's got a Gatorade sweat towel tucked into his belt as Pepe fouls this one to the very top of the
And look how clear
backstop.
that sky is getting out there.
Yeah, just at the wrong time. It's going to bring in some glare into our view here at Povich Field. But yes, partly cloudy now, I would say. Some blue sky peeking through from the right outfield sky especially. So it's 0-2 on Pepe. And again, we'll send this one up the middle of the infield. Tellier coming over to run that one down. And it's an F6 for Pepe to start things off here in the bottom of the sixth.
You give that an F there. I feel like that was hit on more of a line.
Soft line drive, fly to the shortstop.
Luckily,
Up the middle.
F, L, and P are all pretty much the same.
It's all subjective, Tyler. Nothing really matters. Eat Arby's. Kemp Alderman, designated hitter. Flew out loudly and pretty high to left last time at the plate. One of 3 big train players halfway to the cycle as he looks at a breaking ball low in the dirt for ball 1. As I was saying, Fitzpatrick, almost like a quarterback hand warmer, that towel out of the back of his belt. So here's the 1-0 inside, 2-0 on Alderman.
It's a shame there's nobody on the big train that's name ends in A-N-E or something like that, or A-I-N, because you could easily do, because there was the old adage, spawn and sane and pray for rain, right? Because that would be like their 2 starters, and then they'd hope to get to the rest of them. Oh my goodness, that was hit into the shrubbery out of the field. But, you know, you got Ron's, that's spawn right there, but you got to figure out who sane would be. And there's nobody that ends in Ain on this staff, which is unfortunate.
2-1 to Kemp Alderman after he fouled that one sharply back to right side. Now swinging and lacing this one straight at the bullpen. Excellent grab by somebody on the fly. And then throwing it back towards Morgan, the first baseman. Not a home run ball. You don't need to do that. Maybe just trying to show off the arm from the bullpen mound out there and right.
Alderman's all over Schwartz right now.
Here's the 2-2. Bouncing outside in the dirt. Count is full.
And we'll see if Ron's night is done, or afternoon is done here. See if somebody else is up in the bullpen.
As we've said, Ron's 2 appearances this year. 5 2/3 innings pitched, so Alderman will work the walk on a breaking ball inside. He's on base for the first time, not via hit today. What's 5 2/3 divided by 2? Is that like, I guess almost 3 innings per appearance for Cooper Rons?
Yeah.
Ish. So we'll see what the decision is for Coach G.
One swing could make this a tougher game for Alexandria.
This one catches the outside edge for Danny Nerai out of Notre Dame, the catcher. Second straight start for the Big Train since arriving from South Bend-ish. They hosted their own regional. I think they hosted a super regional. Now we're on to the College World Series. One of 3 ACC teams to make it to Omaha. One of those, North Carolina State, got the win over Stanford today. Elliott Avent's team been mighty impressive down the stretch of this season through the ACC tournament, through the regionals, through the super regional as well, knocking off top seed Arkansas as Alderman goes down to second. Here's the throw from Fitzpatrick in time, but the tag a little late, and Alderman swipes second. Big man chugging along. And Springsteen sending him down with Born to Run. If you're going to do that, you should start playing Walk This Way. for any base on balls issued.
Or
we have
walk
some
of life.
Or I walk the line by Johnny Cash. That's a little more appropriate as they're literally walking the line down to first.
Walk like an Egyptian.
That's a good one. It's a great one, actually. Props to you on that.
Sometimes I know things.
Sometimes. Every now and then. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. 1-2 to Danny Nerai as the sun shines brightly for the first time today. And Nerai lines this one off the glove of Morgan. Alderman chugging around third. He's going to come home to score. Nerai holds on first. It's an RBI single, and the Big Train have their 12th run of the day.
And it took a bit of a long time for Alderman to score there. But just ambling into home plate there. No need to charge.
No need to slide either and potentially rip his second pair of pants this season. As Nolan Shanuel will check back into the box. Believe that's Nerai's second RBI of the day after that double back in the second inning. Reached on a walk in the fourth. Shanuel, meanwhile, RBI sacrifice ground out to the shortstop in the first. Singled and was caught up in a double play to end the fourth.
See, now here's the deal.
Very high pop up to the second baseman in between those.
If it gets to the seventh inning, and you think about it, and Cooper Ron's pitches 3, he could be in line for the save. He pitched 3 scoreless innings to end the game if it is, in fact, a mercy rule. But it is not.
I don't know what the save rule mechanics are in a mercy rule shortened game. Don't know if it's necessarily the same as the traditional end game, as it's a 4-pitch walk issued to Shanuel. Ball 4, a bender that didn't quite bend enough to get back down. I think that was walked this way by Aerosmith.
Yep,
Trying to listen. It's not very loud, but it is. So maybe the DJ on the other side of the door here to the Dandy Walker Alliance broadcast booth heard us enough to take our suggestions. As Shanuel works the base on balls. 2 runners on and just 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Big Train potentially 1 run away from the witching run, as we say. Us and Scott Hansen.
Where wins become losses and losses become wins.
Where wins become shorter and losses also become shorter.
But guess what? Today we have 7 hours of commercial-free baseball.
Not quite commercial-free.
More or less.
Thanks to our good partners at the Dandy Walker Alliance, Mr. Eric Call and Co. First pitch to Doyle, low in the dirt. He hit into the aforementioned double play. Also singled, reached on an error. 1 RBI on the day so far for the left fielder out of Sacramento State. Here's the 1-0 high, ball 2, 6 straight now from Adam Schwartz.
Love to see them chase in a run here and then maybe shorten this game up to
give themselves time to prepare for the second one, of course.
We'll have to see who's starting for that one.
Doyle gets under this one, looping it, foul, play possible, and just bouncing off the back of the third base grandstand. No play possible for the fans over there. Unfortunate break for them. Somebody will scramble for that baseball, I'm sure, just out of my view. 2-1 now to Doyle as Schwartz will head to the rosin bag. Wonder if he's wearing any sunscreen.
I wanted to ask you about that. We should see the difference between Spider Tack and sunscreen and rosin with spin rate on pitches or speed.
We'll have to see how much time we have to kill later on. As ball 3 is low to Doyle. From my understanding, again, I have never been a major league pitcher, never really needed anything to enhance my grip, as ball 4 is inside to Doyle to load the bases here for Keith Torres. from my understanding, the sunscreen and rosin combination only enhances grip.
Yeah.
Only enhances your ability to hang on to a pearl baseball.
Because
Not spin rate.
We have a baseball right here. Unfortunately, we don't have the camera on us. I could show it.
As Schwartz's day will be done. After just 1/3 of an inning pitched, here in the bottom of the 6th, he strands the bases full. And Piano Man by Billy Joel will play on a new arm from the Alexandria pen.
So I guess I'll bring it up here now that we got some time to kill as the glare comes in. So what I wanted to show was sort of the grip on the ball right here, as you can see. So pitchers, by design, sort of let it rest on their fingers, sort of like this, Ben. If you take a look here, this is, I guess, as close to an official baseball as we'll get. But this is sort of how they let it rest. They don't let it rest. They sort of just let it throw like this as we try to get some light out of here while there's a pitching change as we go there. So as you see here, it sort of rests. It's not like gripping hard, but without the ability to use sunscreen and rosin, they have to get deeper into their grip, and it makes their elbow muscles like this right here. You have to use your elbow muscles all the way at the bottom. So that is the biggest problem that these pitchers are facing, and we saw Tyler Glasnow go down with the UCL tear, stuff like that. But, you know, the spider tack is the one that really makes it have more spin rate. And
right.
And, you know, most pitchers don't use that. Most pitchers just use sunscreen and rosin. So,
and I think that's part of the messaging issue that MLB has really bungled in this whole sticky
Absolutely.
substance debacle. Is that for the general fan, they don't necessarily understand because they haven't necessarily been told the difference between the sticky stuff used for general control, right? General easing of grip, making it just slightly easy to grip these new baseballs that are so often in play in the major leagues. And that's what, you know, the hitters are okay with. That's what has become commonly acceptable throughout pitching staff. And the super sticky stuff, that's the spider tacks of the world. That's, you know, the stuff, whatever Trevor Bauer's tinkering with, whatever they were using down in Houston to methodically increase spin rate. That's
right.
different from just the, you know, sunscreen and rosin, the pine tars of the world that are generally used to make that new baseball a little more comfortable in a pitcher's hand.
And I just love to test that theory. So I'd love to go cold turkey on one, go sunscreen and rosin on the other, and then I'd love to try out spider tack to see what it does for me, because I throw maybe 60 miles an hour at maximum.
Bases loaded for the new pitcher for Alexandria, Miller Freeman, wearing 38. Another guy who is definitely familiar with this field out of the University of Georgetown. Slight sidearm angle as he bends this one in for a strike on Keith Torres. Rising senior out of Nashville, Tennessee, 6'2", 180. 2-year starter at Montgomery Bell Academy.
Maybe we get you guys a good YouTube segment here where we try that out. The pitch grips, I guess.
This one sent very high towards the left fielder, McRae. He's under it, coming home. Play at the plate. Hand down on the dish. Danny Nerai scores on the sacrifice. Fly out to left from Keith Torres. Very good throw from McRae to at least have a chance, but kind of came down a little too high for Fitzpatrick to get the tag down on Nerai before he was able to get that left hand across the dish for the 13th run of this one and make it a 12-run differential here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah.
Over to third is Sean Ewell. Doyle to second.
And every runner moves up a base.
And an empty first for the top of the order. And Riley Johnson, he singled and was caught stealing in strange fashion back in the 5th. 2 singles and 2 runs in the first and second, respectively. A fly out to second in the 3rd. 3 for 4 so far, and looking for his first RBI as a Big Train player here.
Did not really attempt to get out of the way of that pitch either.
He's a leadoff guy, not afraid to wear one for the team if needed.
Neither is Rocco
Hasn't
Pepe.
been like I was about to say, hasn't been subjected to as much as Rocco Pepe has. Here's the 2-0, bending in there for strike one. Alderman has walked and scored after stealing second on the RBI single from Nerai, who has now come around to score on the sacrifice by Torres. Sean Ewell at second, Doyle at third, Doyle at second, and now Riley Johnson does wear this one off the back knee as he takes his base.
Yeah, and here comes Kyle Velasquez, who's had a pretty nice day at the dish.
Matt Thomas giving the baseball back to Peltola, the home plate umpire, first. So Kyle Velasquez already 2 steaks consumed today with runs batted in and a chance at a couple more here with the bases loaded. 2 outs. Swinging at the first pitch and be way in front of the breaking ball there.
It could end up being a 2-7 inning doubleheader game. They do have a 12-run lead as it stands here in the bottom of the 6th. See if Ron's is on for another inning.
This one catches the outside edge on Velasquez, and he's down 0-2. (13-1). Chance at a couple more here. Ben Bobeck, Tyler Gallo on Big Train TV. 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th. Kick and deliver from Freeman there outside with the bender. 1-2. Takes his time, now delivers again outside with the breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Count is even. I believe this is Freeman's first appearance pitching this season for Alexandria. So he delivers the 2-2, swung on towards right field. Coming in is Migliaccio. Couldn't quite die in time for another run. And it's a fly out to right to end things. Big Train strand 3, but get 2 more runs home on just the 1 hit. No errors by Alexandria. A 13-1 lead as we head to the top of the 7th here from Povich Field.
1 in 10,000 children are born with a brain malformation known as Dandy-Walker syndrome. Dandy-Walker can cause enlargement of the skull, lack of muscle control, and other developmental challenges. More research is needed, but we do know that early therapy helps many live healthier, fuller lives. 1 in 10,000 may not seem like a lot unless your child is the one. Learn more, find help, and help others. Visit dandy-walker.org.
Tellier, Morgan, and off Shack. Whatever terrible joke Tyler tried to make last time, those 3 were due up in an inning. Hopefully not made again. As
Tell
Tellier
my Morgan what?
As Tellier takes ball 1, now sends this one high towards Doyle in left, having to deal with a little bit of sun there as he trots into the shadows, creeping in from beyond the left field fence, and 2 pitches for Rons, 1 out. As Tellier flies out to the other side of the outfield now, 2 F9s. Before that, now an F7 to add to his collection. And again, picking back up to start the top of the 7th, where Farquhar left off in the bottom of the 6th. 1 out here for Ron as he delivers ball 1 to Scott Morgan, who's had an eventful day at first base. Swinging and missing at the 2-0 pitch there is Morgan, 2-1. And taking that one inside for a strike, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Morgan checking with Andrew Patola behind the dish. Holds his hands up to call time, now lets it drop. Ron's working quickly, now drops the glove and ready to fire for the 2-2. Swing and a miss on the breaking ball. It's Cooper Rons' first strikeout of the day. 5th overall for an Alexandria player. And 2 quick outs here in the top of the 7th.
So Rons could be in line for the save here if he finishes this inning, because he would have pitched 3 innings. If you pitch at least 3 innings and it ends the game, then you are in line for a save. So that'll just be the 2nd save for the Big Train this season.
Bit too high there to start off Connor Offshack. Pair of strikeouts for him. 1 looking, 1 swinging as he takes strike 1 there. And this game has flown right along. 6:07 as this one misses just a bit high again. 2 balls and 1 strike from Rons, who has been solid in relief of Luke Baker, who is more than solid as well in his 4 innings to start things off. Again, his line, 1 hit allowed, just 1 run, 2 walks, and 4 strikes, as Rons issues just his 2nd base run of the day with a 5-pitch walk to Connor Offshack, who reaches base for the first time today.
Yeah, and Riley, just needs to move on a little bit judiciously here. Move it quickly and get it forward.
And it seems counterintuitive to say that it's been pitching that has carried Big Train through this one when they've scored 13 runs. As a good breaking ball there from Ron. Starts out Chandler Riley with a strike on the outside edge. But that's really been the story for them in, a couple of these previous games. You think back to that South County home and home, as this one is sent foul out of play down the left side. I believe it was 15-3 and then 13-1 or 13-0 in that second one. But it was some really great pitching between those 2 games, despite the offense. Not despite the offensive output.
In spite of.
Not really. Probably the wrong word choice there on my part. Partnered with the offense, coupled with the massive offensive output that kind of overshadows the excellent pitching that the Big Train has gotten in those games, as the 0-2 is taken outside by Riley Lowe as well. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Rons fires, swing and a miss. He struck him out. And this ball game is over. Not willing to wait for the second game of the doubleheader to just play 7. They get it done in 6.5 here. A 13-1 win for the Bethesda Big Train in Game 1 of this doubleheader.
Yeah, just a huge game, and it's a big one. I think Cooper Rons is in line for the save if he does not get the win. Obviously, came in the 5th inning and pitched in from that time. So if Luke Baker is not afforded the win, Cooper Rons gets the save. Just a great pitching effort, regardless. 1 run across was really the only blemish in this one. And guess what? We'll be right back at it for the second game.
No runs, 1 hit allowed, 2 strikeouts, and the 1 walk for Cooper Rons in 3 stellar innings of relief for Luke Baker, who may be in line for the win, despite only pitching 4 innings We'll let you know when we come back for Big Train postgame here on Big Train TV. The final score presented by Bethesda Magazine. Bethesda Big Train, 13 on 14 hits, no errors. 7 runners left on base for Alexandria. Just the 1 run on 2 hits, 2 errors, and 2 runners. 3 runners, left on base. Again, 6:10 here. We'll see you after Big Train postgame in just about an hour for Game 2 of this Saturday evening doubleheader.